All right. Hello, people of Twitch.
TwitchTube.
That was a mess. So if you were sat there waiting in the chat for the last 24 minutes, you may have noticed that we tried to go live, and then from what we saw, everything just fell on its face. What happened, Martin?
Don't know, but none of the VPN servers would connect for ages. It's like the entire thing just pooped its pants.
So we had to shut down the main internet router, we shut down the VPN router, and we rebooted and recycled all these systems, and we had to go through like a half a dozen potential VPN servers. Everything was pissed off, nothing was working, and then it's back again. So here we are.
Ooh, pop up the stat box thing so we can keep an eye on that.
Let's do that on our dashboard. Okay, so massive apologies everyone for the technical issues, but it does appear that we are back and alive. So I'm American McGee.
Hi, I'm Martin.
And Martin doesn't have a last name. Any of you who have joined us before will know that he does not, because he doesn't want one, because he doesn't want you showing up at his house in the middle of the night in your undies trying to get in bed and snuggle with him. So he doesn't give out his last name on the internet.
We couldn't anyway. We've got really high fences at Font Manor.
Font Manor.
Yep.
You do actually have a nice kind of brick wall, and you have a guard. Is there a guard on both ends of the entrances to your compound?
Generally, yes, but there's only one end that's open now. They've locked the other one.
Yeah, well, that's exactly how it's happened across all of China due to coronavirus. Now, we've only got one guard station and one entrance-exit zone, but you know that we have an electrified fence around our entire compound? We should go out with a GoPro someday and let you test that and see if it's actually working or not.
Yeah.
All right. So we were planning, when we started today's stream, we were actually going to do this with me playing a bit of Madness Returns, and we were going to do that because obviously we are new to Twitch, and we thought, hey, it would be fun to play Madness Returns on Twitch for the first time ever.
And it's probably good to get those Twitch stats up so they can verify us.
Yeah, that's sort of, I think that's part of the goal here, is to get, like, what is it? Affiliate, I think it's called. Anyway,
Summit like that.
Yeah, summit like that. So let's start off there. I'm going to exit this game that I started. Oh, wait, no. Forget how to own game. Because I wanted to see the entrance. Oh, there it goes. It's working now. Okay, here we go. I got to tab out and then switch that. Madness. Oh, shit, I skipped past the frickin' thing.
While you're doing that, let's get some shout-outs.
Do it!
Who have we got? Wendy J's here. Octo Chicken. Magus. Craig's here. So Rosuav. They're back from the last Twitch stream. Truth Decay's here. Lady Craft. The gang. Lots of the gangs here.
Yes, welcome gang. Craig Spurlock. Patient 322. I wonder if that's actually on their Asylum dog tag that they got.
Maybe.
Who knows? But yeah, welcome to everybody. Very much appreciate you being here for yet another playthrough of Alice Madness Returns. Now, the thing we're working on these days is another Alice game, the third Alice game. So it's not a bad idea to go back and get some inspiration and take some reference from the originals. And we are going to play the original Alice on Twitch soon. We're waiting on our good friend Omri, who's working with another artist to do a high-res texture pack for American McGee's Alice. And once he's got that ready and handed that to us, then we will play an entire series of the original game in high-res.
In
HD.
HD.
Yeah.
The H'est of the D's.
Now, someone's saying they cannot hear the game audio. I'm going to guess that's because I've turned it down quite a lot. Let me turn it up here.
Jeez, Rick.
Man, I always do that. Let us know if you can hear it now.
Yes, well,
It says Wendy says she can hear it, but it's very quiet.
Also, let us know about what kind of stream bitrate you can set Twitch to. Last one was 1080p only, and you need to be an affiliate before you can add options, apparently. But this one, we knocked the bitrate down a tad, so you should be able to watch in 720. Fingers crossed.
Go. So away from the technical details of Twitch, there is something that was important that was just said in the opening of Madness Returns here, where Alice and Bumby signal this concept of forgetting, and this is actually something that Alex and I, one of our artists, have been talking about, is that at the start, what is it that Alice in Asylum loves, hates, what does she want, what does she not want? And oftentimes when you're writing story, you will signal to the player, to the audience, up front, the main thing that the player needs to do or not do in order to complete their journey. And at the start of Madness Returns, I actually did that in the writing by having there be this concept of Alice needing to forget, of Bumby saying to her, in order to get past your traumas, you need to forget. But the reality is that was the signal from the very beginning that he was the bad guy, because the truth is that when dealing with traumas, you should not endeavor to forget. In fact, you should endeavor to run towards them and confront them.
Spoiler alert, by the way.
For what's going to happen in Madness Returns.
Yes, for what's happening in this 10-year-old game.
Yeah, exactly. I just gave away the whole plot. But it is an important point to make when you're setting out to write a narrative that at the beginning of the hero's journey, you oftentimes will signboard or what's the other word for it?
Foreshadowing.
It's foreshadowing, but there's other ways that you can describe that. But yeah, let's call it foreshadow. You foreshadow the main character's primary issue / goal / obstacle that they need to overcome. And in Madness Returns, we did that by starting off with her saying, it's not a dream, it's a memory. And then Bumby saying to her, well, you need to forget. And of course, what we later get into in Madness Returns is the fact that through the infernal train, Bumby is trying to get Alice to forget. Now, the reason is that he's trying to cover up his own crime. So anyway, all of that is signboarding, foreshadowing. There's a number of different ways. There's another technical term. What's the other technical term for when you something board? I don't know. There's another technical term for when you essentially lay out the character's obstacle or the thing they have to overcome.
Terminal condition.
Well, if anyone knows what that word is that American has forgotten, throw it up in the chat.
There you go.
I'll keep an eye out for it.
So anyway, as we play through a little bit of Madness Returns today, what else are we going to do today? We do have prizes. What are we giving away as prizes?
Storyboarding?
Storyboarding is the process of doing what we're doing right now, of outlining what the game and the narrative will be. But what I'm saying is when you're watching a film, like you're watching a Star Wars film, at the beginning Luke Skywalker is looking up into the sky and he's talking about how he wants to go off into space. That is, sort of, and he says, oh, I could never do that, I mean, I'll never get there. That is the signal that what he has to do is get there now. Otherwise he couldn't have said that as a character in the film, right?
Okay.
So it's the same with Bumby saying, Alice, you need to forget. It actually means that the last thing she should do in order to complete her journey is to forget. Now, we're doing the same thing with the work in Asylum. Hey, there's some cards floating in the air there. What a bad game.
Bug.
It is a bug. We ought to report that.
Get your money back.
No. So we are doing the same thing in Asylum, and that's the thing that I've actually been working on with Alex in recent days. We've been talking about, what is the hero's journey, and who is she when we first encounter her in the starting scenes of Alice Asylum. Now, I know Wendy, who's in the chat, made a comment on a recent post with regards to that and who she is. And Wendy had said, hey, wait a second, why are you making her, an obsessive compulsive? Why are you making her somebody who's against mess and who's against chaos? Well, the reason is if we don't set her up as an opposite of who she's going to become, then she can't go on a journey. In other words, in order to have, the story of a guy who spends his life trying to climb a mountain, you have to start him at the bottom of the mountain.
Makes sense.
Have you ever been at the bottom of a mountain, Martin?
I've not been near many mountains. In fact, the only mountain I can remember being near is when I was up near the Great Wall. Like mountainous.
In China?
Yeah.
Those are more kind of hills.
Maybe I was looking into the distance. I mean, I'm not talking about, Everest or anything.
But you would never climb a mountain, though.
Oh, no.
No.
But I do remember, okay, these hills, as you call them, they're still quite an imposing feature when you get up close to them.
Right.
So, yeah, it's the closest I've been.
So there's another thing that we're dealing with right now in the opening of Asylum, and that is the concept of where exactly Alice is and what the call to adventure is. And so for those of you who've been following the work we're doing on Asylum, you'll know that she is actually in Wonderland, and she's pretty much there for the entire journey through the game, like from the player's perspective. Now we're going to have flashbacks and something we call flash forwards, because it turns out that the character that we're playing in Asylum is actually the child version of Alice trapped inside the adult Alice's body. So it's sort of like Inception-y, time travel-y type of stuff going on there. That means that in some ways child Alice might actually have access to, or at least some notion of, the ideas that exist within the mind of adult Alice. All that being said, we still need to start child Alice off in a state, and so she's going to be in this state of denial, and then have there be a call to action which pulls her out of denial. So that's another thing I've been working on with Alex. Now, you see here at the beginning of Madness Returns, we start her in situ. So she starts in the midst of the continuation of her story. We've already learned that she's in London, that she's the ward of this sort of medical orphanage type of thing, but that she's got her freedom. She's no longer locked up in the asylum. And we also have discovered now that she plays a role as a sort of an assistant to the doctor who's taking care of, the Houndsditch Home for Wayward Youth. So there's a lot of sort of setup here that goes on without us having to spell it out, right? There's not like exposition madness.
Yeah, I'll just agree with all that. But while you were saying all that, I was still thinking, man, the game still looks fucking ace.
Yeah, it looks all right.
Look at it.
Go Unreal Engine and go Spicy Horse Artists.
Indeed.
They did a very good job.
It's Unreal 3 back then?
This is, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's held up quite well. And I think that's testament to our art team, obviously, and also to just, the technology's actually pretty good. And this is something you and I talk about all the time, is like, well, why is the world pushing to 4K when you've already reached a sort of level of density of in assets and artwork that goes beyond like what we can see? So what's going to happen 20 years from now is that the movies we made in 4K today are still going to look as good, right?
Pretty much,
unless I guess they're going to become VR plugged directly into your brain.
Unless they can upgrade our eyes in the future.
Yeah, maybe.
Right, where were we? A couple of things. Apparently, we're still at 1080p, I saw. But the bitrate has dropped slightly, so it should be a little easier on people's networks. But yeah, we'll fix that when we get affiliate status. And yes, today's prizes, coming a little later, which is actually messed up now. Who knows what time we have to do the prizes.
Let's just pretend like we started at 10:30 our time.
Go on then.
And then that way it'll be every half hour for us.
All right.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, we're not going to do this on down cam since you're in game. But today's prizes is the enamel pins.
You can try. Here, why don't you try some down cam?
Okay, we'll do some down cam.
There you go. Did we break it all? You're going to have to pick the camera up, though. Yeah, I think you want to put that stuff over by the light that I specifically set up for your job there, Martin. Don't fail as a cameraman, please.
Ooh, look at this pin set.
There's actually a Rutledge Asylum pin in there.
Yes, that's the 5th special pin. You're even going to get that. So, so, yes, that is going to be today's prizes when we start giving them away.
Wow, very good. So, where were we? Oh yeah, so with the start of Asylum, this is actually something I've been kind of messing around with, because it always gives me a bit of a struggle. Like, you don't want to just start somebody's yelling. You don't want to just start a game off with a sort of Deus Ex Machina that, something just falls out of the sky and sets the player's adventure in motion. You want the player to make the decision, or I should say the main character to make the decision to move forward into their journey, into their adventure. So I've been talking to Alex quite a bit about what it is that sets Asylum Alice out the door. And that does have something to do with this obsession she's got with order, but more and more I'm starting to lean towards, it's not that she necessarily wants to put things right straight out the door, but it's that she gets the hint of a puzzle, of a secret message of sorts. And because she's a puzzle solver, because she's curiouser and curiouser, were the story to put in front of her some riddle that requires a bit of adventure in order to solve it, then that would be an amazing impetus for her to go out the door and begin this adventure in Asylum.
Sure. I think a lot of games kind of work that in. It's like the tutorial at the beginning. Do they not?
What do you mean?
This whole getting her out of the door and starting her on an adventure could be tied into like the tutorial. It's push forward on the stick to exit the house.
Yeah.
Press X to climb over this box.
Yeah.
As you're doing the puzzle.
Yeah, for sure. They had Lulu stuffed. When did Lulu pass? Okay. I mean, I don't know. You and I both have talked about this kind of like nice integration of movement and tutorial stuff into games. I mean, Madness Returns, I think, does a good job. It's not too overbearing. There's a lot of games that, can be really annoying with the tutorial stuff. But what was it I played recently? I played the Jedi Fallen Order. And
you played like the first 20 minutes.
And the opening 20 minutes is really excellent for
it is good.
The way in which they seamlessly integrate the teaching of all the mechanics in the game to his sort of initial mission, and it's very, very nicely done. So anyway, I think we'll probably be going for something like that.
Yeah, that's the way they do things these days because it works. It's good. It works, and I'm very happy with it.
Yeah, for sure. So anyway, later on in this stream, we will kind of like poke around a bit with some of the ideas I've got that they relate to what we just saw, in the sense that from the start of this game, you get Bumby saying straight up what is essentially the key to the entire story, and that is you need to forget, when in fact she doesn't need to forget, she needs to remember. And when she remembers, if you the viewer, the player, recall, it is in this key moment of remembering who exactly Bumby is that she finally takes the step to resolve the story, and she pushes him in front of an effing train, right? So that remembering is the same remembering that you hear in literally the first line of the dialogue in the game. And so anyway, what I wanted to talk about today, and one of the reasons why we brought this actual Vorpal Blade here, is because I believe I have an idea for Alice, the curious puzzle solver, as the key to her journey in Asylum. The opening moment of the story all the way through to the end. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Important stuff. Otherwise you can't tell a story.
Can't. Okay. Kitten Poker says, spoilers again.
Oh yeah, if you don't want to hear spoilers about how we're making Alice Asylum, then I recommend you turn this off right now, because everything we're doing is spoilers. This is like Spoilerville.
And spoilers for what happens to Bumby in the game.
I don't think anyone cares about that at this point, Martin.
Some people said they literally only just started playing.
Well, then you shouldn't be watching the stream with the creator of the game talking about what makes this game work and how we're going to use that to make the next game work. Spoilers! Hello! I think we did tag this stream with game development and something else.
Design. Summer.
Yes.
Oh my god, she's falling. She's going to die when she lands.
Are there really people out there who don't know what goes on in the story of this game? I don't know.
Unlikely, probably.
So, this point, the entrance to the game, there's actually a bunch of stuff I've been thinking about, and I've been talking to Alex about, like that scene at the beginning, which is serene, and then the rabbit's head pops off, and the goo and the blood goes everywhere. You know, for me, that was a really key moment when I wrote that. And I actually had to push on the team, I remember, to have that level of gore in there straight away. And then also this was a very key moment for me because I felt like we didn't want to wait too long from when the player first ran the game to when they arrived at this. And this was supposed to be like the visual hook, the anchor. Like, you see this and you're like, oh, yeah, right, okay, I want to see what the rest of this world looks like.
Yeah, you don't want the fanciness to be too far in, otherwise there is a chance people might get bored is the wrong phrasing.
That's
but
right, though. They could.
They might just think, oh, it's just like browny grey London. This is, where's Wonderland? What's happening?
Well, you've heard me complain about this, and I complained about this with what was the recent backpack delivery guy game?
Death Stranding.
Death Stranding. It was like it hooked me, but it didn't dole out what I needed fast enough to keep me right. So that's a big problem for me. I feel like there's a promise in a game, and I think Death Stranding had a promise within it of a certain kind of future, a certain kind of technology, a certain kind of exploration and discovery. And my sense with Death Stranding was I wasn't discovering the fantastic fast enough. Whereas, you know, when I played, think of another game that did a really good job of sort of very quickly dishing out fantastic. I mean, I know that the last God of War did that to me. I was just constantly feeling blown away by it. What was I playing on my Switch was the most recent Zelda. Breath of the Wild was doing that to me. I was just like, every time I turned a corner, oh wow, another cool ability or another cool twist in the story. So I mean, that's, for me, that's a big thing. I don't want to be too stingy with how we dole out the rewards and the surprises.
Yeah. A little teasing is fine.
But you know,
terrible, grindy teasing.
To the level of Death Stranding, forget about it. I couldn't... And the payoffs weren't big enough when they did come. I was like, oh, I waited for that? Oh, jeez, you know? Ah, jeez, Rick.
Yeah. I finished it. I platinumed it.
Yeah, I know. I know you did. I don't have that compulsion in me, though. I'm jumping without pressing jump. Did we have that problem before? I feel like we did.
There was some problem. I can't remember which one it was.
It was this. It was the jumping without pressing jump, and it caused me to die a lot, and people were laughing at me, when in fact it was not my fault, but no one believed me.
It's the game's fault.
It is
that
the game's
was it.
fault. Well, look, if I'm being forced to jump without my consent, rape jump rape, what do you expect?
True. It seems we might need to spank Nightbot somewhat. It's being very aggressive with its moderating.
What do you mean?
No. Like Nightbot timed someone out because of using caps or something.
Oh, well, we are here. Look, Martin fixed up the chat stuff.
Did.
Good on you, Martin. So we're just going to do something here really quickly, try to fix Nightbot's... we'll just disable express caps. We'll disable... You guys be good. Don't start saying like the N-word and stuff, because we're going to disable all of this stuff. You can't share links.
Symbols, disable that one.
All right, so basically the only thing you can't do now is share links. So be good, damn it. Don't make trouble for us. We're newbies over here on Twitch. We don't want to get banned because you're wearing like a Nazi badge or something. Okay, let's take a break from Madness Turns for a second, and I think we can take a look at doing art.
Yes.
Okay, so art review for today. This was a piece of art that Joey did just this week, and I love it. And the reason I wanted to bring this up just now is because we just got into this section of Madness Returns where she's playing around with snails, and we love our snails.
Starting off with the fantastic image.
So there's something about this that I really like.
is it that it's looking at you?
Oh no. It's this Alice as the naturalist that I really like. And I think we mentioned this during the stream last week, didn't we? I think I showed some of the collector items.
Oh yeah, the stones and stuff.
Yeah, so this idea of Alice, the character, as the junior naturalist is really interesting to me. And actually, I was looking at some stuff. I was looking at some stuff with my wife, Yin, yesterday, because she was bringing me some kind of like product ideas. And I was trying to explain to her like the difference between a modern skull that might be a piece of art or a piece of jewelry and a natural skull that might be a piece of art or a piece of jewelry. And the difference is, like, I think that the products that we want to try to make at Mysterious, and also the aesthetic of Alice herself and of this kind of stuff in the game, you can see, like I pulled up here, this is like somebody's done a Victorian naturalist decor, right? So they've got all the butterflies, which is appropriate for us because we like butterflies, but they've got all the butterflies on the shelves, and of course they've got all the little creatures in jars, this kind of stuff. Look, there's even skulls.
Dun dun dun.
Awesome. So this is the vibe that we're going for, because this is the vibe. Oh, I really like this. This one's actually got like the posable marionette sort of doll hand in the background. That's pretty cool.
Not bad.
Well, so the reason I bring this up is because when I look at an image like the snail poster, this is all connected together, because the Victorian naturalist environment is the one that I'm suggesting that our Alice grew up in, and therefore she is not at all afraid of skulls. She's not afraid of snails. And in fact, she's very curious about these things. So she may even have what we call a morbid curiosity, or a curiosity that leans towards the morbid or towards the dark. So, you know, she probably has seen her father, who's also a naturalist, collecting insects and animals and stuffing them and mounting them in his study, right?
Yeah, but I'm still not sure that I would hold a massive snail, even if I was kind of into naturalist stuff.
You wouldn't, but like my wife would. So Yen doesn't have any concern or fear at all of the natural, whether it be giant insects or of snails. It's one of the things I like about her. If I see a giant water bug, you know, in our house, like, I'm the one running away and jumping on the bed, and she's the one running over there and smashing it. Right? So anyway, this all goes to a couple of themes that we're gonna continue to talk about. One is Alice's curiosity with the natural world, but another element of what I want to discuss today is the natural world's connection to the theory of chaos. And a snail is actually a really good example of this, because snails, in their design of their shells, exhibit fractal patterns. And one of the aspects of the theory of chaos leans into the fractal nature of the world in which we live in. And this is something that there's been a couple of books that I've been reading recently. One of them is called Chaos. It's by a guy named James Gleek. And I like the fact, again, Alice and her connection to butterflies, it's not by mistake that butterflies are also connected to the chaos theory through sort of the butterfly flapping his wings concept. Do you know that? Remember from Jurassic Park?
I do. I also kind of know that whole, if a butterfly flaps its wings, does it cause a tornado in some other part of the world? Apparently that was taken massively out of context from the original person who came up with that.
You could say that it was, but it was one of the ways that the concept of chaos theory was popularized in the masses. And the idea that, like, it was a bit nonsensical went away, and then it came back that there was something to it. If you listen to or read this book, which I highly recommend, especially if you're going to join us on the journey of us writing the narrative for Alice Asylum, what he goes into is not necessarily that, like, a butterfly flaps its wings on one side of the planet and a tornado appears on the other side. What he's talking about more or less is that chaos is found in every single system in the universe, natural systems and also in the mechanical systems that we people create. So whether it be the turbulence of the, behind the wings of a plane, or whether it be the way in which exercise for us as human beings breaks up the DNA in our body, which then stimulates our immune system through the introduction of chaotic stimulus, that is fragments of DNA that then our immune system can use to boost up its immunity against foreign invaders. Anyway, the main point is that without chaos, we wouldn't exist and the universe wouldn't exist. So you could say that there is a relationship between butterflies flapping their wings and hurricanes, but it's not in the sense that like a butterfly flaps over there and a hurricane manifests over, on the other side.
Yeah.
Anyway, do give a read to this. It is a fantastic and phenomenal book, and we are going to be delving into some of the concepts that are shared within this, again, as we go into the thoughts about what's going on in Alice Asylum. Now, why and how do we leverage chaos into what's going on with Alice and her journey? So I've got this idea that she's going to be exploring the natural world of Asylum, of Wonderland inside of Asylum, and she's gonna be on a mission to decode or unlock a message or series of messages that seem to be trying to get through to her. Now, if you know what's going on with her in Asylum, she is trapped as a child inside of the adult mind, and so the adult Alice is trying to reach through to her inner child, but she's being blocked. And so we've talked about this sort of snow globe analogy. Child Alice in a snow globe, and adult Alice is unable to get through to her. And so I started thinking, like, if you were adult Alice, what would you do? How do you reach young Alice? Have ideas? What would you do, Martin?
I was adult Martin trying to reach young Martin. In my mind,
in yourself,
in my mind realm,
reaching in.
I'd probably try and use something that I was interested in as a child.
That's
I would
right.
probably send some Transformers or some dinosaurs to give the message.
This is correct, yep. So you try to find a way to get something through the shield, through the barrier, that was engaging to your child's self. And in your case, that would be some sort of toys, right?
Probably.
So Magus. Sorry, I read and then it just comes out the wrong way. Magus hits the nail on the head. He says, "Yeet of Vorpal Blade," which is why we've actually brought a Vorpal Blade to today's. Now, I'm not supposed to do this. I'm not supposed to brandish it in a threatening manner because that's a violation of Twitch's. But dear Twitch,
we did check the Twitch rules.
Yes, Twitch rules, people. Please be aware that I am in no way brandishing this. This is actually a prop from the game, which we are working on designing right now.
It's not used in a threatening manner, so do not ban the channel.
But so give everybody a look at that with the down cam. So if you look at a Vorpal Blade, and when you get to the blade itself, you'll notice that there's a pattern. And the pattern is a natural pattern. It's those of a leaf, of branches. Now, if you know anything about chaos theory, and you know about how chaos theory links to fractals and how fractals link to nature, then you may be aware of the fact that this is not only how the universe is constructed, but it's also potentially a way in which information is held very densely, or I should say it's held in a very small format, but can result in very dense bits of information, dense patterns. So imagine this. This Vorpal Blade is, as Magus suggested, yeeted, although I don't think that's ye olde English, so we'll probably come up with a different word for that. But we've talked about a crystal Vorpal Blade, and so what I think we're suggesting here is that this crystal Vorpal Blade finds its way into Alice's snow globe, into this prison wonderland that she's living in. And then Alice gets a look at the blade itself, and she realizes that embedded in this thing, there's something worth deciphering. And so I think the way I want to go with this is that the blade carries the message. And so I'm going to work on this a bit, but there's some really interesting stuff that goes into this. There's a concept of fractal psychology. And there's obviously, fractal psychology would be sort of this like adult self, child self, and then the mirroring of the problems that we encounter throughout life until we've overcome them. So in essence, the universe will continue to present you with the same challenges until you finally grow. So if you're afraid of heights, then you're going to continually find yourself in situations where your height fear is triggered, and or you'll live a life of stagnation and stasis, which is what Alice is in when we find her. She's in denial. So she's like literally just sat around enjoying the circus, playing in the circus, and not growing or transforming or updating herself in any way, shape, or form. And there's going to be something of her that's like, this is boring. I'm getting tired of this, right? Mm-hmm. So in order for her to break out of that, she's going to have to engage. She's going to have to run towards the chaos. And I think that's what the message that's going to be encoded in the knife. One, it's going to be the impetus, the call to action, like, hey, go out and decode what this is. But in the process of doing that, she's going to realize, oh shit, I'm actually in prison. I have been for quite a long time. So that's kind of where we're going with this.
I like it.
And there's, yeah.
I was going to say, you can just imagine that in game, like the crystal Vorpal Blade turning up with its fractal imagery on it, and she kind of stares deeper and deeper into it until she sees the puzzle.
Well, this is the fun thing, is that, yeah, fractals exist in nature, and of course she's going to be able to explore that. She'll be able to collect things from nature that'll play into this. Fractals, it turns out, also exist in us, in our nature. So, you know, many things within the structures of our bodies, basically everything within the structure of our bodies, from the way our fingers manifest to the way that our brains grow, are fractal in nature. And so she's going to start to find all these things in and out of herself. One of the cool things about the nature of fractals is that they scale, right? That down to the most minute scale, and then you can pull way back and find the same structures repeating, but on a macro scale. And of course, this works within the universe. If you look at, say, for instance, the nature and structure of, you know, nebula, and then put that alongside, say, the structure of coastlines and the way that water breaks against, you know, and forms coastlines, and then down to forests, and then down to leaves, like it's all repeating patterns. But who do we know that is a phenomenal explorer of various scales and sizes?
Is it
Alice?
Oh my God.
Alice, yes. So I think she's actually a really good person to have go run into this, because she's one of the few. She's a character that like can go down very small and can get up very big. I mean, in a sense, she's like Ant-Man. I like those movies. I thought Ant-Man was really good.
It was.
And then there's also other elements of our Alice story which we're all very familiar with that I think can play really well into this as well. So this is an octopus that's got a genetic mutation that causes him to grow fractal limbs. This is not a normal thing.
It's not.
And it's probably very uncomfortable for the octopus that he continues to have this happen. But it's obviously not what's supposed to happen. But I was thinking that in relation to our queen, this could be something that she finds herself fighting, because she's very much in Asylum about order. She is the policeman of order, policewoman of order. She's the warden of Alice's prison, and she wants to keep Alice there, and she does that by trying to keep everything under complete and total order. The idea is that chaos is seeping into this snow globe, and I was thinking it'd be quite fun to see that the tentacles of the queen themselves end up getting fractalized and get chaos introduced to them, so that they're spreading out, and that she may be growing beyond her own bounds because she's like fractalizing, right?
Yeah, like octopuses, octopodes, octopi.
Octopi.
Their limbs are kind of self-governing, aren't they? So even though it has like 1 million limbs, probably coped fairly well. Probably didn't have trouble when it was alive if each thing was independently knowing what it was doing.
I don't know. I guess you'd have to go look this up. I mean, the fact that he's grown, or she, sorry, not to be octo-sexist. So the fact that it's grown to be this size kind of suggests that it lived a longer life. It didn't just die immediately. But if it had an evolutionary advantage, you'd imagine that you'd find this in nature much more often. The fact that it's a rarity might suggest that it's sort of detrimental and kind of be overcome. I mean, if nothing else, like if you were a female octopus, would you want to sleep with it? Well, I don't know, mate. I don't know what octopuses are into.
You just
sexually.
assume it's gender again.
Sorry. I'm sorry. It may be female. I just thought something with that many appendages had to be male, but I could be wrong. Who knows? Anyway, so that's kind of an overview of what we're thinking about, where we're at with regards to chaos and fractals and the opening call to action using the Vorpal Blade and the pattern engraved upon it to set Alice off on her journey.
Yes.
Okay, I've done a lot of talking in the last half hour.
You did.
Why don't you do a bit of
well,
contest?
I was going to, during the contest, we can go back and look at an image from a message. But yeah, we're going to give Nightbot a try this week. Last week was fun, asking questions. But we're going to try Nightbot. So we still ask a question, just if you type something in the chat, then Nightbot will know you're there, and maybe you'll get chosen for the prize. So, what question?
Wait, what? I thought we were going to just do a random push the button.
Yeah, but people have to say something, don't they? And then they'll appear and...
Oh, that, to populate the number of eligible users. And you can't ask them to just spam it.
Don't spam.
No, don't do that, because apparently that got people kicked off of YouTube. So anyway...
So long since we've streamed, you forgot.
So why don't you tell us whether you think that this octopus is a boy or a girl or something else?
Something else.
I mean, it could identify as an attack helicopter. You never know.
Could.
I mean, it does have the like kind of rotor business going on here, and perhaps if it spins fast enough, it could fly.
Maybe.
Yeah.
While that's going on, the super awesome picture of Alice that Joey did, can you bring that back up?
I might accidentally show off something we don't want to show off yet, so let me... Oh yeah, see, look at all that cool stuff we didn't want to show off yet. That
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, Wendy J asks why there are so many points on that chaos necklace.
Yeah, I saw that as well. This is just a standardization problem. This is just Joey being a bit mental. So I think in a final version of this, we would get her to clean that up. I mean, I don't know why this stitching necessarily exists on the dress in that fashion either. There's a couple things going on here, but I think my guess is that Joey got a new set of kind of oil painter brushes for Photoshop, and this was just the result of her having to go with those brushes, because this is not in her sort of traditional style. I mean, in terms of the painting and the lighting. But that's a good catch, though, Wendy.
Yeah. And as me and you might know, this is probably the second best Alice snail that exists.
Yeah, I did do a better snail at one point.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can actually find
It's probably not on the internet, is it?
Snail. I don't know. I figured, yeah, it's just all you gotta do is just type in McGee snail. Do you suppose that'll get us kicked off of?
Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Kotaku reported on it, and it is like a thing. So I think a lot of you know this story, but EA, they had said to us during the production of Madness Returns that the game wasn't being M-rated enough. So I photoshopped up a snail for them, and I said, how about we put these things in the game? And then they stopped bothering me. So that's pretty good. Look, this snail's got a top hat. That's almost as good as a snail made from a penis. I don't know.
Looks like something that Jennifer might have drawn.
It does look like a piece of Jennifer art. We ought to make this as a product. I bet that would sell.
Maybe.
I mean, it may not sell like to our regular customers, but I'm sure there's somebody out there who would enjoy that. Yeah.
Shall we roll Nightbot?
Let's do it.
Give it.
I'm gonna do this now. It's 3, 2, 1. L_101.
Yeah. Well
Okay.
done, L_101.
Congratulations, L_101. You have won the giveaway. So the thing that you need to do is send an email to support@mysterious.design and include what you do the thing.
Just tell us who you are, what you won. It's the pin set. Give us your address, formatted not stupidly. Not just like one long line, unbroken, which some people have done. You know, like name, first, like house number, street, province, city, country, proper.
I think you're saying all of this to a thing that doesn't even exist. I'm not even sure if L_101 is a person.
They must be nearby because they said something within the last 2 minutes.
True. All right. Oh, well.
We'll see. So, yeah. Email, format correctly, telephone number required.
And within 24 hours.
Yeah.
And then we will send you, you're going to do some down cam action. We'll send you a set of fancy pants pins.
Ooh. Without a crease, hopefully.
Yeah, that one's got a crease in it. That's a pretty crap set to use for marketing purposes. This turned out really nice.
It did.
I wasn't sure about the black and white, but it's okay.
I always had faith.
No, I didn't. All right, good. That's done our contest, and where were we? Art review.
Yeah.
Art review. Now, let's see what else we've got in the pipeline here. There is some kind of fun stuff getting done. If you were following a while ago, you may have seen us talking about a concept called non-Euclidean geometry. And what it is basically is this idea that we could put geometry in the world. It's off. You put some geometry in the world. Oh, there we go. And the geometry looks like, long on the outside, short on the inside, right? Stuff like that. And I think this video, the guy goes in and he does stuff where certain hallways that he walks down shrink him, or certain hallways shrink the environment that he's in. This is all stuff that's really perfect for Alice in Wonderland, for obvious reasons. And again, it goes to the thing I just described about really hammering very heavily on the concepts of chaos and of fractals. A room like this, you can see as you move through it, there's actually more leaves in the room than appeared, or less leaves in the room. So he only walked through 3, but he came out the 4th room, stuff like that, right? So you can envision us utilizing technology like this to really dive deep into fractal nonsense within the game world.
I think so.
Now, so this stuff that we're about to look at here is what we started doing some concept art on. So as you pass between 2 objects, it flips objects out one for another. So it's essentially like swapping between different realities as you move around inside the environment. And so to that end, that's it. To that end, we had Dario start work on bits of art that look like this. Now this makes a little more sense if you've watched the video that I just showed you, because what's going on here is that as you move around these holes in Wonderland, their content changes. And so depending on which side you're looking at them from, they're providing you different information. Now again, there's something of a fractal concept in that we could have you turn round and round and round and go deeper and deeper and deeper into the levels of information being conveyed by these poles. And then you could unwind back out the other way. That could also end up that there's like portals to various areas of Wonderland that are all contained within like one door, but depending on which way you come at the door. It goes to different places, right?
Yeah.
So we're looking at stuff like that. Dario's done a bunch of experimentation around that concept. A few more bits that he put in here. That horrible octopus. Okay, yeah. So this was shown off, I think, on Patreon the other day.
Mm-hmm.
When you see this Alice, you know this is Alice. But does it feel like the D-word Alice to you a little bit?
D-word Alice. Oh. Now that you mention it, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I find it interesting because that's such an iconic silhouette that when I saw this, it immediately struck me as, ooh, that's not really our Alice. And I think a lot of it has to do with the shape of the hair.
It does. It's too wavy and poofed.
Yeah. So anyway, this is D Universe or Universe D Alice. What were they calling that in the Star Trek that we were watching with Michael as the protagonist? And then there was Discovery. What they had an alternate universe that was called something. Anyway, so this is the Alice from that evil universe. So
right.
That's all I'm trying to say.
Like that. The D word. Butterwacken.
That's an awful word, Greg. I don't even think you're allowed to say that. That word is illegal. Very illegal. So this
it's just called the mirror universe, I think. The main universe is the prime universe.
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
So again, we're seeing here themes of nature, and these are all potentially fractal elements within Wonderland. Themes of nature combined with the portal concepts. So, if you go through one side, you come out the other, it looks like this. And then if you go through again and come out, it looks like that. And so you could imagine these kind of doors that, you go through them and shrink and grow. You could also imagine going through them, you go through once and you come out in universe A and you come back and you're in B and you go through again, you're in C and D. And maybe there's a kind of looping back around so that we can build mazes that have these kind of funny, instead of like a traditional labyrinth with lots of different hallways, you've just got few hallways with these funny little doors, and you've got to get the right combination of which doors to go through in what order in order to get through the thing, right?
Yeah, got to be careful with that. I don't know if everyone is like me, but that type of stuff can get frustrating if you can't, for me, make a mental map of where you are, which I suppose is part of the point of being in Wonderland.
Well, no, but you bring up a very good point about this, and it was a point that, like, even 25 years ago when I was building Doom levels, we knew to signpost. Is that the word I was looking for earlier about? Oh yeah, maybe that was the word I was looking for. So signposting in your narrative structure. Anyway, we knew to signpost in the level design by putting unique, only in one place lighting or geometric details, or once we got to the point where we had access to statues and 3D models, then you would put those in there as well. It's very important when you're doing level design not to frustrate the player because everything looks all the same and they end up getting lost in your maze. Now, I recall, like, when I was playing through Madness Returns or when I was playing through the original Alice, I got lost in some places because there wasn't enough signposting going on.
Yeah, I kind of remember that during the Ye Olde playthrough back at the Ye Olde office.
Yeah, everybody was yelling at me, like, go left, go right, and I just couldn't get my stuff together, so.
I remember. Yeah,
these portals are pretty cool, though. I'd like to see sort of 3D realized versions of these.
Coral.
Yeah, so the other topic we wanted to go in today had to do with defining the look of Alice. So that was this art that Omri sent along just last night for us to take a look at. And what we're trying to do here is this. We're trying to figure out what 13-year-old Alice looks like.
Yeah.
So she's obviously smaller. She's a bit younger. She's smaller. But this is going to be our protagonist for Asylum. And you know, we've presented all this artwork over the period of pre-production, and there's been so many different variations on what Alice has looked like in all these different images. Why do you suppose that is?
I don't really know why that would be. I mean, I remember some of the comments here in the Patreon post. People have alluded to what they think it might be,
Which is,
but they're well. I'll have to go to the comments
well, yeah,
later.
I mean, let's get in, because I know Greg wrote a bit. What did Greg and Wendy say
See
about
what
this?
we got here from Greg. The trouble coming up with the standard model for Asylum's Alice, I wonder if it's because there doesn't seem to be a standard Alice in general. She's cryptic enough a character that we all see something different in her. Two existing games are so technologically far apart they don't even share a common Alice design. Toss in Otherlands and all the other concept artists bring in their own styles. I don't know if there has ever been a consistent image of her.
Yep, I think that's fair enough. That was Greg's comment, right? Yeah, I really liked that comment, Greg, and I oftentimes think like how, I mean, it's obviously important for us to establish her look to build a game. But I said in response to some of this and thinking about this in that Patreon post, I actually made the comment that we could create a face designer in Asylum or in an Alice game that gave you the ability to kind of sort of adjust what she looks like.
A little bit.
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't be able to put like a beard on her. You wouldn't be able to radically change the color of her eyes. But imagine a face character designer where you can adjust the shade of her eyes a little bit. You could adjust a little bit of her facial features, but not a lot. And why? Because then in doing that, we kind of give a nod to what Greg has said here. Maybe she's a little nebulous and she's something a little different to everyone. And is that okay?
I don't know. I mean, some people might accept that if there was like a facial editor, but some people,
they wouldn't understand it.
Yeah, they'd be like, "Well, why can I only like change this like a tiny amount? What's the point?"
They would get really angry. Well, we'd have to have some sort of a description in there, and also like there'd have to be a warning and also like an insult, like this is why this is this way, and if you don't like it, get bent.
Get bent.
So let's take a look at this really quick. This is Madness Returns Alice, and we fought a lot. I mean, it took us forever to get the team to agree on this face. I remember this was really painful. So I won't be surprised if getting this right is like gonna be painful. Now we actually did do some work on this previously, and I sort of got to a point where I wanted to walk away from it because it gets really frustrating at times. For us, I think it gets frustrating for insane children, you know. What do you think about these two side by side?
It's quite good as a representation of age. I think she looks about right, fresh-faced enough, young enough. But it might be a little too different. I don't know. Again, like more adult Alice has got a sort of a more slimmer face, but as a young person, you're probably going to have a bit of puppy fat. So, I mean, I quite like it, but I need to think about it some more.
But remember, like when we find her, she's living in ye olde starvey times, and she's also in an asylum, and she's just experienced, you know, the death of her whole family. And I don't know when was the last time that you encountered a severe depression or an encounter with chaos, but I can tell you that one thing that you generally don't do during those types of experiences is you don't take very good care of yourself. So it's unlikely that I have a sense that she'd be losing weight. So she might be a bit gaunt. She might be a little skinny. I don't know.
But, I mean, she's clearly in Wonderland in this image. She's got the dress on. So London Alice would be more gaunt.
Well, that's why he's got the shaved head business going on here. This is her with the Asylum clothing on. I assume that that's what he intends for this this selection to be. This is London Alice Young, and this is Wonderland Alice Young. Right?
Yeah, I think so.
He has an obsession with really thick eyebrows, so we're gonna have to ask Omri what's going on. It's either because he lives in a world of really thick eyebrowed people, so he just thinks that that's normal, or maybe, I don't know. Are there a lot of caterpillars crawling around on people's faces in Israel?
Google it. Israel caterpillar plague.
Caterpillar face. I don't think I spelled any of those correctly, except.
Well, I hope there's none of those on people's faces.
Yeah. So if I look up Israeli face, I'm just getting pictures of Netanyahu. I don't know. Is he just like the face of Israel? Okay, I just clicked on typical Israeli faces. I guess they've got some eyebrows. I don't know. So maybe that's what's happened, is that Omri's brain has been taken over. Oh yeah, this guy's got super eyebrows. Maybe he thinks that she's like this guy. I'm sorry, you guys can't see what I'm looking at here. I'm afraid I'm going to get in trouble for being racist, so I'm not even going to bring this up on screen. Anyway, let's Omri, stop making the eyebrows so thick. That's all I'm trying to say. Nothing against Israeli people or caterpillars or people with caterpillars on their faces, but I just feel like that's a lot of eyebrow.
She needs to tweeze them.
I mean, when your eyebrows are essentially the same size as your eyes, I feel like you need to go to the eyebrow place.
The eyebrow doctor.
It's the one called here that's got a really funny name. It's all about eyebrows. I don't know. It's got a kind of
a beauty
offensive,
salon
yeah,
that you're talking about?
It's got a kind of like funny offensive name. I can't remember what it's called anyway.
I don't
know. So Julia says, as a young girl, I didn't learn to do my eyebrows until I was in high school. Get some tweezers. Maybe that could be like a thing, an item you pick up partway through the game is a pair of tweezers.
Perhaps.
Could be. But I don't know. I mean, let's say that perhaps she doesn't have access to grooming tools in the asylum. So in the asylum, she's got slightly thicker eyebrows and she's got less hair on her head. But she obviously has magic hair growing abilities in Asylum. So perhaps we could just work on the eyebrow business a bit.
Maybe.
So that's, by the way, I'm not just trying to be funny. That's actually one of my literal comments on the character design. Because it's the one thing that stands out to me the most upfront is that the eyebrows are a bit out of control.
Well, there you go, Omri, if you're listening.
By the way, I also think this is one of those things where he, as an artists are really smart about, they know they're going to get feedback. And so what they'll do is they'll make creative decisions. Like, for instance, he may have made the decision to have her eyes be all puffy and red. Now, by itself, if I'd seen that, I would have rejected that. I would have been like, oh man, it looks like she's got pink eye, like some sort of eye infection, right? But what Omri would have done was he would have been like, oh man, I really like doing her eyes up like this, but I know American's going to say no. So what I'll do is I'll draw big furry caterpillars on her face. So he'll reject that, and then he'll ignore the fact that I gave her like weird, beady, disgusting pink eye business, right?
The old retreat bargaining tactic. Put something poop in,
yep,
so you can keep something you want.
Correct. So I think that's what's going on here, but I could be wrong.
It's being rumbled.
I think I'm being rumbled. What else do we see about this character that works or doesn't? I think that the frame and the proportions are okay.
I imagine she'd probably be a teeny bit shorter than that she's indicated there in the top left. Just me.
I don't quite understand that. Please explain once again.
Child Alice
would be
I thought
shorter
she'd be
than...
a little shorter. I thought she'd be a little more childish-like.
Well, this adult Alice is what age? In Asylum, in Madness Returns, she's 20, I think.
23?
She's 20. Oh. I have it on a thing on the wall back there. But don't make me run back there and look at it. I think she's 20. Maybe the Insane Children can correct us on that. I think she's 20 years old. But I think that we do know that Asylum Alice is 13. So there's a 7-year difference. Suppose we should look up like how much they grow the typical child grows in that kind of time, and whether or not the delta between this needs to be greater.
Yeah, I think it's literally like, what, half a foot in 7 years?
So, from the artist's way of talking about this, they generally do proportions and scaling in terms of heads. So as we go into this, what we might say to Omri, and that's one of the reasons he may have picked this height, is because he's going to do the height as a ratio of the number of heads that fit within certain aspects of her body. Anyway, so because everything has to scale down. Just for my part, I'm not bothered by her height. So I just want to go on record saying I think she looks like she's probably the right size.
Okay.
But Martin thinks she may be too tall.
The tad.
What's he done here? Just like a texture pattern on her stockings. Why has it got a question mark next to it?
He's like, are they wool? He's asking.
No, I don't know what he's doing there. What does that mean? I don't know. A little weird. So yeah, anyway, this is something we're working on these days. The reason that we're working on this is that we need to establish the look and feel of this character as a function of the design Bible that we're working on. So we'll get into the design Bible stuff in just 1 minute, but first, what time is it?
It's
contest time.
Contest time. Look at that. Ooh. Right. So, a question for them to not spam.
Look, like Greg looked it up. Google says at 13 you're 5'3", and at 20 you're 5'4". Ha! In your face, Brit.
1 inch.
Yeah, so that means that the delta between the two heights
literally
is
not
nothing.
True at all.
He Googled it.
He's lying. Or he Googled someone who was joking about it on the internet.
Yeah, all right. So it's time for a contest. We are going to ask a question here to rev you up so that Nightbot makes you eligible. The question is, how many inches did you grow between the age of 13 and 20? I was pretty tall at 13.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I don't really know, but I'm guessing it was more than 1 inch.
Right. Well, if you don't know, then just lie. It's totally fine.
No. It has to be accurate, or we can't win.
No. Definitely exaggerate as much as possible. Okay, so while they're doing that, we've asked the question, and then what are we going to do? We're going to give away some enamel pins.
Yeah.
What do those pins look like there, Martin?
These Yodi pins.
Is there art on the back of those cards?
Yeah, it's just kind of bloodiness.
Oh, that's good. We always like a bit of bloodiness. Yeah. Very 9 Inch Nailsy.
Oh, yep. Here we go. These bad boys. Arr.
I can never see that pure insanus whatever without seeing anus. What does that mean about my brain? Got mental problems.
Maybe you're just thinking of
anus.
Rumps.
Maybe, could be.
There you go. So yes, hopefully Nightbot will choose you, and good luck to one and all.
Who's Juan? He's not even in here.
Juan
and
Hall.
All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1, and roll it. Oh, ooh, Magus, but I think Magus left. He just said I'm leaving.
Somebody left.
No, I thought he just said I'm out. I'm done. I'm leaving.
Was it?
Look, even Wendy says Magus left.
I mean, so can't win.
Okay, well then we just roll it again. We're gonna give Magus 1 second, 10 seconds to come back, and he did leave. Everyone says he left. Magus says I don't believe that.
I'm sure he did.
Okay, we're just gonna roll it again. Sorry, Magus. 3, 2, 1. Ladycroft.
Ladycroft.
There you go. Congratulations, Ladycroft. I do believe you know how this works. You send an email to support@mysterious.design. Include your name and your phone number and your address, and please format it in a not stupid way.
Please
do all of that within 24 hours, and then we will get your enamel pins off to you in the mail.
Whoosh.
Whoosh.
Is the noise they make.
They do.
What's next in the fabulous folder of art?
I think we're starting to scrape the bottom here. There wasn't. Oh, so what we were going to talk about actually was the design Bible, because I had sort of ended that thing about defining what she looks like, talking about the fact that we're working on the design Bible. So that is the thing that's occupying a lot of my time in the background these days. And so we have said, okay, well, the design Bible, for those of you that don't know, that's us building out the sort of final or the official collection of all of our design thinking for Alice Asylum. So this is the kind of format structure that we're going to do. Now, this got shared on a Patreon post not long ago. You don't have to be a patron, by the way, to look at these posts. We usually mark everything to be early access for patrons, our insane children, by 3 days is what I've always done. Apparently, Martin just picks random days when he does his posts, so he makes me a liar every time he does something other than 3 days.
Yeah.
Stop that.
I'm just never tell what I'm doing next.
Stop it. Be consistent. So, the Design Bible. You can go check this out over on Patreon. Again, you don't have to be a patron to see the stuff, but you do get early access if you are a patron. Anyway, we are filling this out, and the filling out is being done in a document, which one part of the document is this. This is where we've taken all the wiki content, and Martin dumped everything into this giant Google Docs format document, and so all of these ideas we've been talking about are in there. Again, the link to this is shared in a recent Patreon post. I should probably repost a bunch of that. It says the stream
Internet's
has stopped.
Being poop. Don't do it, internet. Whatever you're thinking.
It dropped 500 streams.
Looks like...
Uh-oh. Stream dropping.
It dropped, but it's coming back.
It's coming back. Oh, it's back up.
Shakes fist at internet.
It's dropped a few more frames there. Okay, it's back. Well, guys, just to let you know, if it drops and it's completely dead, then we had fun and we may have to run away. I think a lot of you know we are in China, and that we do rely on a VPN to keep us online for these streams, and the VPN is not always super stable, so it's dropped again.
So we'll keep going.
It's dropping lots of frames over there.
It's coming back again, though. That peak's getting higher.
That doesn't look great. Okay, well, let's see what happens.
Let's see what happens.
So yeah, this document, this is the... Oh, is it doing that, like, up and down thing? We've seen it do that before. That's not good, Martin. I think we've gone into...
Let's keep going.
Gone into a bad place. It's dropping a ton of frames over there. Our speed is going down to 900.
Oh, geez, Rick.
Not happy. Really not happy. What do you suppose is doing that?
Internet goblins.
Is there something gobbling up our bandwidth?
Maybe.
Turned everything else off. Look, it's climbing back up again there.
Yeah, it's back up. Is it going to stay up, or is it...
Like it's staying up. Okay. I think we're back. So let's just continue. So where were we? Right. We've got this document. This contains all the information from the wiki. The wiki contains all the information on everything we've collected during pre-production. Now, it's in a kind of a messy state. So what we're going to do is we're going to put all of this into the format that I just showed here. That is this design Bible format. Now, I'm working with Alex first. He's asking me a bunch of questions. Now, these questions ended up, some of them I posted up on Patreon the other day. And this is basically the two of us working through...
It's a Lulu.
It's a wild Lulu.
Should we downcam her?
It's not going to work. It's too dark.
Well.
Really?
Yeah.
Lulu.
Lulu. Come to me.
I'm not going to listen to you. You're going to have to say treats.
Treats.
Treats?
Come on.
Cat.
Cat.
Where's the cat? Where's the laser? Lulu, get the cat. Where's your toy? Go find your toy. Where's your toy?
Lulu, what are you sat there for?
Down. Roll over. Roll over. Yeah. Good one.
She got a bit closer.
Now she's going to go find her toy. All right. Get old Lulu. So where were we? Has she brought that thing? Yes. This is what we get for saying the T word. Okay. So this is Alex asking me a bunch of questions about the story and about the character. Now this stuff isn't really getting shared publicly. One of the reasons is we don't want too many chefs in the kitchen, and we kind of view this as I don't know, this is kind of like grunt work to define the story. Maybe some aspects of this will get shared in the raw format later, just for historical purposes. But at least in the short term, this is going to be me working on some writing stuff, and then we'll start to put this into that design Bible. So this was where we started off. It was like, well, what does she look like, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we are working on the body proportion, and because obviously so much flows out of that, right? So this was all the dresses, and we're gonna kind of, I don't want to say whittle down, because I'm pretty sure we're using all the dresses that have been presented so far.
Even the weird bargaining suit.
I was never a fan of that one. And bargaining is the stage where she goes to meet the Hatter, so it's much more likely that in that stage she'll be wearing the alchemy dress, and or she may go there still in like the denial dress before she makes the transition to the alchemy dress.
I do like that denial dress.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we'll see her in at the start of the game, for sure. Well, that's not true. You're going to see her transition through several outfits in the intro to the game.
Okay.
Yeah, so we've got down to defining different elements about the way she looks. That's the stage we're in that you saw the artwork for just now. And then we're also working on demeanor and personality traits. So this goes back to, I mentioned at the start of the stream that I had posted some of this stuff up, and then Wendy had reacted to this by saying, hey, wait a second, you're describing an Alice that is unknown to us. Have we dropped off again? Completely?
Going.
Oh no, it says 0 KB down there. Now it's back up to 1,000.
Come back, internet.
It's back to 3,000, 8,000 now.
Jeez. What you gonna do?
That's not good. I don't know what we're
There
gonna
are
do.
options within Streamlabs or the Twitch manager that will keep it going along. A little bit of buffering. So we can investigate.
But it's gone back down to 0 there. It's quite on and off.
Really is.
I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
I mean,
Jay's black. It's not you. It's us. It's not your internet.
There it is. Oh, yeah, no, it's definitely us. Us here in China. It's definitely us, because we're seeing this go to 0 kilobytes. I don't know what to do, other than we just keep recording, because it is actually recording, and then this could be put up on
Yeah.
YouTube later on.
Yeah. That's a good idea. Maybe.
Yeah.
Tighten.
So, where were we? So there was something that I described in here that I actually liked quite a lot. It was about sort of encapsulating what it is that's going on in the journey. And I had described this as, you could imagine a mother and daughter separated by war, and then the daughter is orphaned away with a new adoptive family. So she's behind like the walls of a palatial estate. The daughter spends her days just being kind of entertained with circuses. But the mom is still out there looking for her. And at some point, the mom figures out where the daughter is hidden away, but can't get through the security, can't get over the walls. And so she starts sending secret messages to get through to her daughter. And at some point, the two of them, you know, there's a realization that like, yep, she's getting the messages, and also the young girl, the daughter, is like, yep, my real mom is out there somewhere. I need to get out of here. I don't want to be in jail anymore, as much as I enjoy all day circuses. So that was written in here, and it does do a very good job of kind of and making an analogy of where we find Alice at the start of the game, because she's in the Queen's domain, she's in this circus, and she's being held in denial. But as soon as this call to action, which is the Vorpal Blade, lands, she's going to go off into Wonderland and try to unravel the mystery of what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah, now we've got some internet back. We just let people know that, yeah, it's not your internet, it's ours that's the problem. And we are recording this as well. It's going to go up to YouTube later. So if there's any bits that you missed or whatnot, you'll be able to catch it over there when it's done. So,
Yeah, I wouldn't blame your own internet. It's really not your problem on your end. Maybe a few of you, who knows? But yeah, there's definitely a problem here in China with the Chinese internet. Maybe I should share some of this stuff out later on. I did paste some of this up to Patreon, but yeah, I mean, we'll just go through this really quick about like who the character is. So at the beginning, questioned about, you know, how does she feel? Obviously, she's been through this massive trauma, and she's lost her family. So when we find her, she will feel abandoned and alone, broken. But of course, she's also made herself numb, and she's being distracted by all this circus nonsense. So that's where we're going to find her. And in terms of motivation, again, I think what we're going to focus on is this idea that she's pulled into adventure by her curiosity. That is the Vorpal Blade landing. And she's got fears that are very much related to what she's been through. So when your encounter with chaos happens suddenly and takes away from you everything that you trusted and believed in, then you're gonna be very afraid of that sort of thing happening again. So anyway, all this was posted up on Patreon, so if you want to have a read of this, and also the response that I sent out to Wendy with regards to this, because it then goes on to the end of the story. So everything I just described is where we find her at the start of the story, and then we will get to a point, obviously, at the end of the story where she's gone through her journey, and we find that she has become the character, the person that we all know. So all of that, again, up on Patreon, or most of it is. I do see somebody that says, why not make it visible to the public or release the bits you have finished? That is from art_0, or Adder. Just to be clear, Arter_0, it is all public. You go to Patreon, you don't have to be a patron to view all of this stuff, but if you're a patron, you get it 3 days early, or random days early if it's something that Martin posted up.
Yeah. You did actually do some big replies, didn't you, on the latest post to people's comments. So when that gets unlocked, which should be maybe now or tomorrow, who knows? Check them out. Head on over.
It's up there. This is recent posts. So this is the one where...
This is unlocked.
I don't think this is unlocked. It's lying. It's because I'm logged in that it says that. But anyway, so all of this is up there. Arter0. You'll find that this particular post is locked, but it won't be in like 24 hours. So head over there and have a look. But it does describe everything that I just talked about. And this live stream. Look, live streamception. Wow. Oh my God, I do have 500 posters to sign. So yeah, that's where we are in the current process. A lot of writing going on, a lot of defining of who Alice is as a character. So you can expect that in the coming days and weeks, you will start to see a lot of this, the documentation for the Design Bible getting fleshed out. And again, to reiterate, all the links to all this stuff are up there on Patreon. I should probably do one big collection of links post, just to remind everybody. So this is where we're going to go into in the next week, is we're going to assign Norm the work of doing these various tiptoeing, walking, running, basically all of the actions that Alice, and all the animations that she's got. So if you look here on our Trello, we'll see it's actually begun. So this is stuff where like she's climbing a wall, she's peeking.
This is a Joey picture, though.
This is an old Joey picture.
Yeah.
It's just to start us off. So now what you can expect is that we're going to get a bunch of these, but from Norm, and he's going to do them in his sort of storyboard comic format.
Look forward to seeing that.
Right. So there's a lot of this coming. This all links to animation and actions. So expect to see that relatively soon.
Woo!
Yeah. And so Arter Zero says, I understood that the edits you were making were not going to be public until the design Bible was ready. No. The design Bible will get updated in real time. It's just that the document that like I work in on my desktop on like an hour to hour basis, I'm not making that public because that would freak me out. It would make me feel like the stuff that I'm writing has to always be sort of ready for public consumption, and it's not. I mean, my writing oftentimes I write all over a page. I write notes and I write references to things I want to think about, and I don't always feel comfortable, or I wouldn't feel comfortable like having all that stuff out there for everyone to see. A lot of times, because what'll happen is like you'll get someone who wants to put their voice into the process, and they could pull me away from an idea that I'm exploring and that I'm enjoying. And I'm a big fan of collaboration, but I also think that there's times where as a creator you need to be on your own. And so that's kind of what that document I'm referring to is me on my own.
So yeah, don't look forward to seeing that anytime soon, Arter Zero.
Well, don't look forward to seeing the document that lives on my desktop, but you can look forward to seeing updates to the Google Docs, like that I was just showing, which do contain all of the work that we're doing, work in progress. But that stuff is like more or less updated on a weekly basis, not on a daily or hourly basis. Keep that in mind.
There you go.
This is other stuff that's going to get worked on, is us looking at the different forms that she takes in the game, like rage and hysteria, harvest dress, her guilt dress, and then like what do those things do in terms of powers. Again, all of this being put together so that we can then go back to the design Bible and fill all these things in very clear detail, which is easy for us to present to potential publishers or financiers, so that they know really clearly what the project is about, like what they're funding if somebody decided to. What's this?
It says it's a hell swan, allegedly. Yeah. I don't know, a hell swan carrying a hell flower in its beak?
So it's under a category of breakables.
Huh.
Let's see. There's frog's breath. Isn't that what you normally have when you come over?
Yeah.
Yeah. Martin has frog's breath.
All those frogs I eat when I'm on the way over.
I guess this is just the team working on things in the game that would be smashable, breakable, and then stuff that comes out when you break and smash stuff. I like frog's breath.
Quite like how it smashes open. It's like, rah!
Ribbit! Good. I do like that. And then, so I guess you'd break the hell swan and like all hell breaks loose?
I'd snap its head off and I'd drink from its neck.
Jesus
What
Christ,
I'd do
Martin, what's going on over there?
If I found a hell swan made of glass.
Scary. You're scaring me. I do know also that we're going to start some re-exploration of characters, but this has been marked as on hold. But this is what we were going to put Norm on until we decided to put him on some exploration of animation and actions. For Alice, we were going to have him go back to some of our much-loved characters and start redefining them for Asylum. But this is on hold. As you can see there.
Can see.
Yeah. I think that's a bunch of stuff in Trello.
That is a bunch of stuff in Trello.
You know that Jennifer did some, what I believe to be potentially politically incorrect bat stuff.
Yeah, is that just like a random coincidence that she chose a bat?
No, because I did a tweet like a week ago, and I suggested that instead of everyone talking about bat soup, that perhaps we should focus on bat soap. So instead of turning bats into soup, let's turn them into soap and then wash our hands so that we don't all get coronavirus. And I presented that to Twitter as a product concept. And then the next thing I know, Jennifer had drawn up some bat soap.
It kind of looks like a sheep, though.
It's a sheep bat. I think those are
I know,
bubbles.
I know it's Bubbles.
I think it's bubbles. He does look like a little sheep. I wonder if you could get like bat wool from him and make like a little bat wool cape or something.
Imagine how many bats you would need to make a bat wool item of clothing.
Well, apparently there's plenty of them here in China. I mean, there's people turning them into soup. So, but then yeah, we've also got little bat bag. So, feels like this is not the time in the history of the world to be selling all kinds of bat products. I feel like people would be kind of against that.
I think so.
Don't know. Would you buy bat soap?
Probably not.
I don't know.
Unless it was a gift I was giving someone, like a quirky gift from China.
I don't know.
That could be the next question in 6 minutes.
About what you would give someone?
Would you buy bat soap?
Oh.
Don't answer it now.
Okay. Don't answer it now. Now, before we started the live stream, we did talk about the fact that since we've finished the old pins, the enamel pins there, we had it in our planning to go and build this snow globe. But then something happened. The world got all broken.
All pooped up.
So, that has stopped us from going to visit the place where we would find the samples of snow globes and factories that would make snow globes. But it does seem that like China's kind of getting back to normal now, which is weird because I know the rest of the world's still under lockdown. But I've been talking to my wife about taking a trip down to Yiwu in the next week or two, and to go and find manufacturers, not just for the snow globes, but for some other stuff we're working on. So here's a snow globe. I think this was a pretty good rendering of what we had in mind. There were a couple.
I remember some different looking images in my head.
Yeah.
Don't know where they are.
I don't know. These
We
are
were looking at the one that was on the tragedy print.
Oh,
perhaps.
yeah, maybe. Well, so, there's some pretty cool, pretty innovative, interesting things that the world has done around snow globes. So I think we're going to have some luck finding, and I've seen this kind of stuff down there in Yiwu. So I think we'll have luck finding a factory that does this kind of thing.
Ooh.
The Mist.
In the Mist?
Don't think I have.
Good.
I've seen The Fog.
Yeah.
Is this like
It's different.
the sequel to?
It was it's based on a short story, which was actually the inspiration for Half-Life.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It was my first ever Blu-ray.
What?
Christmas present.
Oh, interesting. I had no idea.
Yeah, it's a good movie. It's quite good.
Oh.
Yeah.
So this snow globe has a daytime and a nighttime function, it seems. Like there's a function, this is like, there is no mist in there, and the monster is in there without any kind of fog, and then apparently you can turn it on and it mists up in there.
Nice.
Interesting. Well, so this was the concept that got done, at least put into Trello. So yeah, I think let's go down there and have a look. I think our insane children are still on board with this, right?
I think so.
Cool.
Yeah, snow globes are great. I'll buy them all. Snow globes and a tea set. Another snow globe to add to my collection.
All right.
So there's at least 3 sales right there.
There you go. Done and done. All right. Well, speaking of sales, let's do some selling for our advertiser, our biggest advertiser. I'm going to let you, Martin, take it away because you've actually played the game that the Freaky Fandoms team played this.
Yeah, Freaky Fandoms, one of our biggest supporters, as many of you know. They've been with us for a long time. They have a podcast where they talk about games and films and books and art, all kinds of, what's the word I'm looking for? Cult stuff, so to say. And the latest podcast, as you can see on screen, Shadow of the Colossus. I told you before the stream started, I've bought this damn game 3 times, I'm sure of it. The original, PS2, probably PS3 and PS4. It is a great game. The Team Ico behind it are fantastic at doing like really desolate, empty, but moving landscapes that like make you think of like an ancient civilization long gone. They're just the best at it, as they did originally with Ico.
So it seems that this week on Freaky Fandoms, they are taking another look at Shadow of the Colossus. I should say, I know that they've played it before, but they've started to play it again. And I spoke with Deborah and Andrew days back, and they said that Deborah is playing this to platinum it on her PlayStation. Made fun of you for your inability to successfully complete. What was that game that you?
Oh, Bloodborne.
Yeah, Bloodborne. They told me to tell you that you've been laughed at because you were out platinumed by Deborah. So there you go.
It's fine. Like I said, there are some games I just don't click with.
You can't just say that's fine. I think a gauntlet has been thrown down.
Really?
Yeah, I think that sounds to me like you've been called out, like it's a challenge. Like how you laughed at me because I hadn't played Shadow of the Colossus, or had to point out to everyone that I still hadn't got more than 20 minutes into the Knights or whatever, the Jedi, what's it called? Fallen Order, right. So now I'm going to make fun of you for being unable to platinum or even complete a game that Deborah has obviously run circles around you with.
I was nowhere near a platinum on that.
There you go.
I remember the last game I platinumed.
So yeah, as Martin said, Freaky Fandoms are our largest sponsor. Deborah is also better than Martin. And so,
at one game.
I think in general, really. And so if you'd like to support what we're doing here, you could always go over and support them. They too are on Patreon. So somehow magically by supporting them can be also supporting us. Supportception.
Yeah.
So Freaky Fandoms on Patreon, SoundCloud, iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, Discord, Twitter. I mean, they're like basically on everything. So
Andrew's there. He's in chat.
He is there. And he's in chat. So there you go.
Everyone say hi to Andrew.
Oh, Andrew. Right. So that brings us to the end of our advertising section about Freaky Fandoms.
Woo.
Yes.
Was that the prize?
It is now 12. It is time for yet another prize giveaway.
Okay. We're doing pins. Are we going to down cam?
Do you want a down cam on them?
Down cam. Pins. These are the prizes.
Are they in the mysterious shop?
I put them in. I did it.
Just because people might feel less like vomiting, we showed them the mysterious shop. All right, there they are. Created by popular demand. What?
Everyone was asking us to do a pin set.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, so Omri did these really cool Photoshoppy things.
What the hell is going on? Nightbot, kick their ass.
That's not very nice. What's happening there? Are we being...
People are spamming for the prize, I guess.
I think that's a raid. We've been raided.
Is it?
It seems that way, yes. Anyway, you've raided right in the middle of a giveaway, so it's very likely that you'll win something. So do say things in the chat about what? What do they need to say in order to win the pin? Tell us what your favorite pin in the set is.
Tell us what a raid is.
It's when a bunch of people from another channel jump into your channel. So we've now got 123 viewers.
Wow.
Well, welcome 123 viewers. You've joined at the most opportune moment in our live stream. Well, there's actually 4 such moments in the live stream. You've joined right as we're about to give away a prize. So, thank you for the raid.
But it seems raid people are not picked up as eligible users.
Strange. I don't know why.
Right.
Anyway, let's give away the prize.
Yes.
Everybody just give us a quick word on which one of these is your favorite pin. There's a Hatter hat, a Cheshire head, anus.
An anus crest.
And then there's also this seahorse looking hobby horse weapon thing. So tell us in the chat, hat, horse, cat, or anus, which one is your favorite? And we will give you one of these things. So there you go.
Yeah.
So that's really weird. We have never been rated before. I did enable rating, and it appears that we have been rated. But yeah, why are those people not showing up as eligible for the giveaway? I wonder if they have to have been here longer.
Oh, maybe they have to actually say something, because a lot of that was just emotes. Maybe they have to type something for Nightbot to pick them up.
Could be. I honestly don't know. Anyway, everybody, here we go. We're going to roll it in 3, 2, 1, and Jin the Human has won the giveaway. So, Jin the Human, I've never seen your name before. I'm going to assume that you're one of the rating party. If you would send an email to support@mysterious.design and include in that your name, your address, your phone number. Do that all in a human-readable, frustration-causing format, and also do that within 24 hours, and we will send you enamel pins. So congratulations, Jin. Now, Jin may have raided and then ran away. Hard to say.
It is hard to say. So what is the point of a raid? I know what it does, but what's the point?
I think it just brings you suddenly lots of new users. Right?
Okay.
So say someone else is having correct me if I'm wrong, people who understand what the hell is going on Twitch, because this is my second ever Twitch stream of all time. I don't really know what I'm talking about, but I believe that you could be having your own stream, and then in the midst of your stream, you could select to go and raid another person's ongoing stream.
Okay.
See, a raid is a way that viewers and send their community to a friend's channel. It's a very old tradition since Justin TV that became Twitch TV.
Huh.
So,
All right. The more you know.
The more you know. I do actually believe that we've sort of run out of stuff to do here today. We could go back to the game. Because
some comments, you could play the game and I'll do some comments.
Do it.
Do it.
Okay, you do that. I'll try to.
Right.
I'll try to play and not die.
Well, don't be too engrossed in the game, because you might need to reply to something.
All right, I'm listening.
Okay.
Are you listening?
Well, these are from the Patreon post, for those of you that don't know. The latest one. Wendy J. I feel that the answers to the questions from Alex need to be revisited, from the doc we just looked at. Since when does Alice have OCD? How could Alice hate illogical things when she created Wonderland? Does Alice actually enjoy cleaning up messes? Also, are we no longer starting the game out before the fire? But you did, like I said, you already did like a massive reply to that.
I did do,
Over
and
on
I've also
Patreon.
discussed this in detail during this stream today. Again, it was the analogy of the mountain climber. Maybe he's like the mountain climber hero, but you typically wouldn't start his story with him like celebrating on top of a mountain. Instead, you'd start his story with him like struggling down at the base of the mountain, right? So, you have to put the character in a position that is, in essence, opposite to who you want them to become. The Spider-Man movies are a really good example of that. The Peter Parker, the recent ones, by the way. So, the Peter Parker character, he's a wimpy kid, and he can't find love, and in fact, everything that he seems to try to do when he does get his powers is like completely screwed up, and yet by the end of it, he becomes basically like the heir to the Tony Stark empire, right? So you have to start quite low in order for that journey to have any weight to it, and that's why when I wrote out those answers to those questions, I did it in such a way as to start her in a place that is almost opposite to who we know her to be and where we want her to end up.
Hey, fair enough.
There you go. I'm curious if Wendy, because she didn't reply to my reply, so I wasn't sure if she sort of even read my reply. I don't know if you get a notification when I reply to something.
Well, Wendy, did you see the reply? Did you reply to American's reply?
No, she didn't reply to my reply. I don't even know if she got a notice that I replied to her reply. Did you reply to my reply? Who replied? Who's on reply?
Wendy, let us know if you got a notice to reply to American's reply.
Reply to my reply about your reply.
Please do.
But the main thing I want to know is, after Wendy, if she did read the reply, after she did she go like, oh, that makes sense? Or was she like, no, I'm not buying it?
And then I'll keep an eye out for chat.
Now, this was something I found in Knights of the Hidden Jedi Republic Order Slayer monster game, was that why would we put those breakables there if you can't actually break them? Can I?
Fun?
Huh?
Fun? They
Flutter
look good.
whacking. Well, they're clearly they're set dressing, but those are breakables, so you shouldn't put breakables in place. So I was going to say that in Star Wars Yoda of the Yeeting Republic, they did a very good job of implementing these slides in a fashion that was not frustrating or broken.
Some late game slides are a little bit annoying.
Really?
Some of them, but yeah, generally speaking, they're not bad.
Yeah, well, they're not as... Well, I don't know. Are these really bad? I feel like we had a bit of a problem with them in here.
I just know that you hate them.
I do. You got another... Hold on, before you get to the next comment, I do want to just talk about this really quick, because this is also an interesting and critical moment. So there's a suggestion hidden in the set dressing here of, you know, a battle with the Jabberwock and him having been defeated by something. There is a giant horn stuck in him. Now, there's also the Vorpal Blade.
Keen and always ready for service.
Now, it's stuck in his head. It also looks like he's got, like, is it the horn of the unicorn or of the...
I've not come back here looking for a fight.
So basically, the Jabberwock's got the horn.
One's certainly looking for you.
My point is, well, there's a couple points. So first off, I did want to mention, I think it's important that the Vorpal Blade be the first weapon that she's handed. We did that in the original Alice, it's done here, and then it'll also be done in Asylum. So I think people are used to that idea, you know, that, hey, that's like her main system of, and the thing disappeared before I could see what was jabbed in his back. Do any of the insane children know if that was like the unicorn horn jabbed in his back? Did we kill him with help from the griffin in Alice? And then, but there was no unicorn in Alice, so what the hell was that stabbed in his back?
Trying to cast my mind back to the playthrough you did, but
I
got nothing.
Pretty sure that there was some sense that you got help from the griffin, but you didn't. I don't remember like a unicorn flying out of stage left and stabbing him in the back. So,
yeah, let us know.
Jennifer says the griffin yeeted him. Yes, I know. But what was that stuck in his back in this scene just now? Anyway, maybe I'm the only one who saw it.
I saw it.
You saw it. There's no R in saw, Martin.
No, but in drawings.
Yes, there's multiple. There's like 6 R's in drawings.
Here's one from Bryce Thompson, who said, upon hearing that we were moving to Twitch from YouTube, I can't stream Twitch. Is that a thing? I know that I struggle, but that's just a VPN thing. Like, in the West, are there actually people out there who can't get Twitch to work as a video broadcast service?
Don't ask me.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Is that
I'm in
a
the
thing?
same boat as you with being in China, so...
In the chat, let us know if that's just a thing out in the West, that sometimes Twitch just don't work for people. Seems odd, like somebody saying, YouTube doesn't work for me. Seems weird.
So, you see this statue here. This statue's famous because it was also in first Alice game. And then we had a piece of art recently. I really hope that... did Omri put that... What's the new piece of art called? The poster.
Apart.
Did he put that into Trello?
Don't know. Definitely on the Drive, Google Drive, but I don't know if it's in Trello.
I don't want to go to the Google Drive.
Well, it'll be on your Patreon somewhere. Probably not too far back.
Anyway, I wanted to bring that up because that got into my head recently when we saw that piece of art. There it is. Okay, so Omri did this piece of art. It's called what?
Falling Apart.
Falling Apart. This is only the top half of the image, but it's fine. It does what I want because it obviously it echoes to what's going on in this scene in the game, that she's got the crying, in the game she's crying blood, in the scene here, and that's what's causing the bloody waterfall. And of course in the first game she was in the pool, the Veil of Tears, and she was crying, I guess, just tears, and that was what was filling the veil up. So I guess this would be like the Veil of Blood. Yeah. Sounds like a good, like a metal band. We are Veil of Blood.
It really does.
So when I saw this piece of art, one of the thoughts that I had, and it's partly because of the way that he's presented it, he built a bunch of structure into the scene. So you can see on the sides here what in essence looks like sort of castle-y, structurally something's going on. And in the original presentation of this image, there it is. This was like the early concept image, but you actually have Alice in the scene. So it's huge, right? It's a huge gate. And I had said, I think maybe during a live stream or maybe on Patreon or both, but that I have a sense that what we should be doing is that throughout her journey, we could have these as major milestone markers. So you'll get these kind of echoes back to the Veil of Tears statue, but in Asylum, there may be lots of them, which would kind of explain why when you're playing the game, when you're playing the first two games, there are sort of lots of them. It would seem, I think what we would maybe be suggesting is that these types of statues are actually littered all around Wonderland.
Yeah.
And that there's a real significance to them. So anyway, that's something to think.
It is. Few people said, sometimes Twitch craps out their browser, but BGC2 says that Twitch not working is not a thing. So I don't really know why Bryce is struggling. Maybe they just need to try harder.
Right. Who knows?
Who knows? Chris Maria, this is going back, I think, to the different looks Alice has. Says, I think Gregory has some good points that we said earlier. There are aspects of Alice that are stylized that let you know you're seeing the same person, such as her smoky, dark eye-lined eyes, along with her physical accoutrement. I basically just finished Madness Returns last night for the first time. Well done. Having played both games back-to-back, one thing that popped most for me was the darkening of her hair in Madness Returns from American McGee's Alice. We used to talk about that a lot, didn't we? Back in the old studio, that was a main thing.
Yeah, people do get really obsessed with the hair color issue, and I know why, because if you look at the various marketing materials, if you look at the marketing material from Alice 1, you look at the marketing material from Alice 2, from Madness Returns, it changes. It's not always the same, and it depends on presentation, like who did it. So we had video trailers that were pre-rendered for... We had video trailers that were pre-rendered by a studio in the UK, and they did her hair one color, and in the game we had it in a different color, and of course also in the game it can depend on the environment, like the lighting where you're at. So it's not always quite the same. But what I said to Omri the other day was, like, when I look at this, I see a little bit of red, I see black, I see brown. There's a hint of red, and then there's black and brown, and it can depend on the lighting as to which aspect of that becomes most obvious.
Okay, Chris, if you were listening, there you go. This is moving on now to some other posts. Some quick fired off comments here. Austin Cook, can't wait to see his modded American McGee's Alice in action. You mentioned earlier in the stream that Omri is putting together a HD texture pack.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's up to that. He says he's working on an HD version of the game, and he asked me whether or not I even had, a proper copy of Alice, which I don't. I have to pirate it myself because I don't know where to get it. I love people are always like on Instagram and on Twitter and Facebook, they're like, where can I get Alice? And I mean, what I really want to say to them is like, I don't effing know. I mean, if I wanted to play it right now, I'd go steal it. This copy of Madness Returns I actually got from Steam. So I bought this on Steam, and then the copy of like old school Alice that I have that we played streaming last time, I think we just downloaded from the internet somewhere. It's 20-something years old. I'm pretty sure EA is not going to chase you for downloading a 20-year-old game, so...
It might.
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah, can't wait to see that. Wendy J suggests that you could play the Pirate Jam games. You know, to up your twitching.
I can. The problem is that the guys and girls from this year's Pirate Jam, they did all of their Unity projects in full screen, and a lot of them don't want to play nice with OBS in full screen. So I've got to talk to them and get them to output windowed versions of their games.
Right. Yeah. Okay, well, it's a good idea. Yeah, maybe in the future. Felipe Bedoya mentions that the last Twitch stream we did, the stream was great, much less problems compared to YouTube ones. If you have to fill in the hours to be a Twitch affiliate, why not make one stream of Alice gameplay? Another with art review and stuff. Also, he says that watching me play games might be good too. Would, unless it was Bloodborne. So, yeah.
So, I would actually like to stream and play more games, and I downloaded to this machine the most recent Doom Eternal. I've had some people ask me if I can please play the new Doom, and like the problem is I don't have time. I mean, you know, I get up most days. Like today, we were up at 5:30 because we have a little person in the house. Lucky, it's now going on 7.5 months old, and he's becoming more and more precocious, I think would be the word. He's very much aware of the things that he wants and the things that he doesn't want, and he's now become quite skilled at letting you know what he wants and doesn't want. So anyway, he's quite demanding, and I do work at home, so that means his demands oftentimes can interfere, and I say that in a positive thing. I'm happy to have him interfering with my life, but he can interfere a bit, so that's taken up a lot of time. And then, you know, we just have a lot of there's a lot going on. Like most of my day yesterday was whacked out by having to go and meet with an accountant, which took hours, and that had to do with getting our China business entity like structured correctly. And nobody cares about that. I can't live stream that. It's not interesting to anyone. I feel like it's a huge waste of time, but if we don't do it, well, then we'll go to Chinese jail. So, anyway, so that's going on. You know, there's all these art prints I've got to sign. Oh, you know, maybe I should do a little bit of writing on the new Alice Asylum stuff. Oh, I got to give some direction to the team. Oh, yeah, we've got stuff going into the mysterious shop. It's just, you know, oh, I should do a Patreon post. You know, it's like, so there's a lot in a normal day, and I actually can't find time to play games, much less to stream the games.
Yeah, so. I remember saying to you, like, since you managed to make it back from Thailand, but you've not even switched your PlayStation on.
Nope, I haven't. It's just sat there. And by the way, this is not me complaining. It's just me explaining why, as much as I want to play games, like I'm very interested in this new Doom game. I've heard nothing but amazing stuff about it, and I saw the trailer and it looks incredible. I haven't had a minute to mess with it, so
could be doing it right now instead of Alice.
Well, I think we will. I think we can kind of mess around. We can play some Alice sometimes. We can play some Doom sometimes. We'll see.
We'll see.
What am I supposed to do? Toggle. Press that to toggle. Right.
Kill.
Get that snout. Get coronavirus.
Where's he going?
He's going back to the Duchess. She's told me to season her snouts. Did you miss that? I think you were talking.
I've also not got the headset on. So.
Yeah. Someone's saying you could always let people stream on your channel for you. True.
There's an option. I saw it.
All right. Don't forget the comments there.
I know. Let's have a quick look then.
Yeah, there are comments. We are coming up on the 2-hour mark here in the stream, and it turns out that among that list of all the stuff that we've got to do, we do actually have a ton of that to do today. So I think we are going to have to pause the game here in a moment, and we're going to do our last prize giveaway of the day. What's the question going to be, Martin?
Ooh, a good one. I can't think of anything. It was a brain fart when you have to do this on the fly.
Really? What was the last Doom that you played? That could be the question.
The last Doom that I played was the original Doom 2016 remake demo. And it made me feel a little nauseous.
Yeah,
so maybe the field of view wasn't set right.
I've heard people talking about this new one making them feel a little bit nauseous as well. I mean, you know, back in the day when we first did the first Doom, there ended up being a entry in the physician's desktop manual that basically was motion sickness caused by a video game, and it was called DIMS, Doom-Induced Motion Sickness. Physician's desktop reference.
Right. So yeah, I don't know if there is a field of view slider on console, if I just missed it or whatever, but yeah, just the demo was fun, but I just couldn't keep at it.
Right.
I'm sure there's all sorts of crazy-ass settings playing it on PC.
There's a couple of games when we play here, we've got a big projector screen set up on the PlayStation, and there's a few games recently that were making me feel motion sick. Exactly what those were, but
I remember you said Gaze Dawn.
Yeah, that's right. It did. I think there were certain times, especially when I was spinning around, because it's got a spin button during combat, a quick turn, and if I did that too much in a zombie fight, I wanted to throw up. So yeah. All right. We've picked a nice peaceful place here to pause. So we're gonna pause.
Okay.
Is there a save? Nope,
No.
Don't do that. Back. What do you do to save?
Configuration?
Gotta be why doesn't it just say save somewhere?
Game
data.
Why is it so hidden?
That's not it either.
Why is it not here?
That's not it. Where is save? Maybe you just quit out of the game and it does its thing.
You hope.
Well, if not, we'll just start
auto save.
Yeah, it's auto saving. All right, so in today's episode of Game Developers Don't Know How Their Own Games Work, let's do a last and final giveaway, shall we? So we are going to give away these fancy enamel pins. I really like this Rutledge Asylum one. You can see that? Yeah. That's one. Maybe I'll wear one of these. Oh, it's got this like really heavy-duty clasp on it. You need a tool to open that. Never mind, I won't wear that today.
The old locking clasps.
So, what's the question? What's the last Doom game you played?
Yep.
That's the question. So everybody in the chat, please let us know what was the last Doom you played. And it can also be none. I think the last time I played Doom was when we played on this PC, and it was something like Doom. It was one of the packs.
Right.
I downloaded from Steam, but I think it contained Doom 2 plus some special levels. Yeah, so Doom 2 would be me.
Saw a Digital Foundry video on Doom recently, the N64 version, Doom 64.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite interesting, looking at all the technical details and the hurdles and whatnot.
It's crazy to me. I get emails all the time from people who are writing books or who are writing blog posts, or but they want to know the history of this stuff. And one of them recently came up was this guy, John Gaudiosi, who writes video game history books. And he asked me, what do you remember about the Doom 64, the Nintendo Doom port? And I'm sat there and I'm like, I remember we had involvement with it, but man, that's 20 years ago. That's a long time ago. That was 1995. I don't remember that. That's 25 years ago.
I don't remember what I was doing in 1995.
Yeah, I mean, I have some pretty sharp memories of things that we did there at ID, and I have some pretty good memories and some specific sharp memories of work that I did, but I don't remember much about the Nintendo stuff. That means I wasn't really directly involved with it. Anyway, people are very interested in that kind of stuff.
Yeah, seems like a good version.
Yeah, there you go. All right, we have some people in here. We're gonna roll it. 3, 2, 1. Truth Decay. Yay! Okay, so Truth Decay, you have one set of enamel pins. I know that you know how the routine works, but I will just say it one more time to remind you. Send an email to support@mysterious.design. Include your name and your address and your phone number and all that kind of good stuff. And we will send you a set of pins. Make sure you do that within 24 hours, or else we will send Lulu to your house to bite your face off, and not in a cute or pleasant way. We're going to wrap it up here, so we're going to go remind you to do the things. There we go.
There we go.
Go for it, Martin.
What have we got? So over on AmericanMcGee.com, there are some handy things you can do to help us out if you haven't already. Number 1, sign up to the mailing list if you're interested in Alice Asylum.
We've got like 50,000 names on there now.
It's going up.
It needs to be higher.
Yeah. So yeah, please, real email addresses and stuff only. Don't spam it with dead relatives or whatever. So yeah, sign up to that. Follow us on all the things. That needs updating.
What do you want? We need to add Twitch.
Yeah. So
and get rid of YouTube.
Yep. So yeah, follow us on all the social media doodads. You can also join Patreon. It's down as little as $1 a month if you want, but at higher levels, there's awesome stuff like art prints, and you can join us, get some of the goals we did, like the enamel pins. So yeah, just come and join the Insane Children over on Patreon. That would be great. And we do have a shop. Mysterious is its name. It's full of cool stuff. Wallets, t-shirts, necklaces, skulls.
There's skulls in there. Like literally
all kinds of stuff.
We literally sell skulls. If you had asked child me what adult me would do when I grew up, and I had said, well, one of the things you're going to do is you're going to sell skulls, I would have thought that was pretty damn rock and roll. I'm always surprised how many of these skulls we sell. They do actually do pretty well. Yeah. And we're going to add more skulls to the shop soon. So yeah, if you want skulls, now you know where to go. And by the way, they're like ye olde skulls, not like dumb modern artsy skulls. Like we do like straight up real old fashioned skulls. So there you go.
Okay.
All right.
Those are the 4 things you can do to help.
It's true. Those are the things.
Yeah.
So this has been live stream number 2 for us on Twitch, and appreciate everybody who joined us here today. If you're watching on YouTube, sorry.
Sorry. I actually got an email from YouTube the other day saying hey, the brand new creator studio is live. It's amazing.
Yeah,
it's like, no.
I want to know, why does Greg's Junk keep asking, can Martin code?
No.
Why is that even a question? That's a weird one.
I could code on the spectrum, 10 print fart, 20 go to 10.
Right.
Back in the day.
Well, anyway, Angel PV0001 says, I'm glad I looked into your guys' game development on the game. Yeah, the development, pre-production stuff is going pretty well. I mean, this 2020, we do mean to be working towards a pretty solid goal of having the entire design nailed down. Past that, I mean, we really need to get a publishing financing deal in place. And, I think it's going to end up, it's going to have to be EA. So we'll see. Cross your fingers. But I think, it's their IP. They'll probably be the smartest, most rational publisher, financer for it. So anyway, that is something I'm putting a lot of pressure on these days. We'll see how it goes. Do we have any other last-minute questions?
Greg
or...
asks if we like his new name.
It's a good name,
Greg's
Greg.
Junk.
Do you still have your junk, Greg? I wonder if that
course.
still exists, or did you ever build your junk? Did you ever put it together? Do you often touch your junk, Greg? Let's see, it's not Greg. It says Greg. Oh, so that must be somebody making
Oh my God.
a funny joke.
Gregception. You know what we can say? Remember about the old raffle kind of electro boom thing?
Oh, right.
So in order to do this correctly, to allow people to be in with a chance of winning some stuff, it needs to be open to a wider audience. So, that being said, we want to give away some... go to downcam. We want to give away some Pirate Jam coins. These are awesome. Look at them go. So, yeah, we want to give some of these away to our Patreons, but we also have to include other people as well to make everything above board.
Well, there's a legal requirement that giveaways and sweepstakes cannot require a purchase. And technically, Patreon would stop us from giving things away only to patrons, because then it requires money in order to be a patron. So in order to get around that, we also have to give away things for free to people on YouTube. Therefore, in the comments,
when this goes up on YouTube, in the comment on YouTube, well, go over there and give us a comment anyway. More comments are nice. In the comment, what should they say to be in with a chance of winning one of these coins?
I'm a pirate.
Maybe like hashtag I'm a pirate.
There you go.
There you go. When this video goes up on YouTube, in the comments, hashtag I'm a pirate. And you will also be in the draw to win one of those fantastic doubloons.
I just have a question. Why would you put a hashtag in a YouTube comment?
What all the kids are doing.
No, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't, like, go anywhere with a hashtag in a YouTube comment.
Yeah, it might be easy to search.
Martin. How old are you again? Alrighty, guys. We're going to go be old and...
Slap like.
Slap... Lick like.
People say slap like.
Do they really?
Chat.
Don't they say slap the like button?
No.
Let's
see. Let's just
right.
hang around for another minute.
We're gonna go now. So goodbye, everybody. We'll be back again in a week. Slap like, do the thing.
Jib it up.
Jizz it up. I don't know. All right. Bye bye. Bye bye.